July 29th, Thursday edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here on the Weather on the Ones Forecast Center. We have a hot and humid day on tap for today, but some changes coming. A breath of fresh air, but at least a taste of some drier air coming for us tomorrow. And then kind of a complex forecast as we get into the weekend. Now, let me show you what's happening this morning. This is the radar imagery, and it's all pretty quiet across most of our part of the country. But there's a cold front moving our way. Here's the dew point temperatures. These are 4 a.m. dew points, and kind of illustrate what's happening here. You have everybody here from Texas up into Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, southern New England. All of this area is seeing at least 70-degree dew point temperatures this morning. That means it's very, very muggy. But a significantly drier air mass sitting up here in the northern plains and the Great Lakes region. That'll be pushing southeastward today into tonight, and we'll get a taste of that drier air tomorrow. But today, again, it's going to be hot and humid. We're looking at probably some triple digits for interior South Carolina. And down into Georgia, you have a heat advisory in much of eastern Georgia and much of South Carolina. For North Carolina, we're looking at highs today up into the mid-90s in many spots, maybe some upper 90s in some sections, and a pretty humid day as well. This is the upper air chart valid 2 o'clock this afternoon. That upper level ridge beginning to retreat westward, but still giving us one more hot day. If that trough then builds in over the weekend, maybe a brief reoccurrence of the ridge as we get into next work week before we try to see another trough by the end of next week. So let's get into that here on the modeling. This is the GFS, and none of the modeling is terribly excited about the thunderstorm chances today, but I am going to continue to mention the opportunity for a few thunderstorms primarily this afternoon into this evening as that front approaches and eventually moves through. Tomorrow, we're into that post-frontal air mass. So tomorrow, it'll be noticeably less humid, especially when you get to I-40 and points northward. But even for the Charlotte area, I think it's going to be a noticeably less muggy type of day. Highs in the Triad, probably upper 80s. We're looking at low to maybe mid-90s for Charlotte and the Triangle regions. And then tomorrow night, for Saturday morning lows, a lot of 60s on the board and maybe some 50s up in the North Carolina mountains. So a nice little breath of fresh air. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to mention the chance of at least a few thunderstorms as we get into later Saturday. So I'll mention that chance of a few primarily afternoon showers or storms Saturday. And that chance will continue Saturday night and probably Sunday. An even better chance of seeing some showers and some thunderstorms around the region. And weekend highs entirely dependent on how much cloud cover we see. So it looks like we'll say upper 80s to lower 90s for highs Saturday and Sunday, dependent on cloud cover. Monday, maybe highs close to 90 or so. It's tough to tell. Again, Monday is still going to be dependent on how much clouds and how much in the way of rain we see. As we get into the midweek period, probably the warmest stretch of weather next week will be Tuesday and Wednesday, some low to maybe mid-90s those days, and then there are some indications by later in the week of another front dropping in around Thursday or so that could cool us down a bit again toward the end of next week. The bottom line here is I don't see any signs of any really extreme heat as we get into next week. Yeah, it's going to be fairly hot and pretty humid again. But I don't see any extended period of triple-digit days, at least in the offing for the next 10 days or so. So that's good news. And, of course, we flip the calendar over to August this weekend. So if you're tired of the heat and humidity, there is an end in sight in the summer. You can start looking for more pronounced cold fronts here as we get into August. Sometime down the line, you normally see toward the second half of the month a decent cold front move in. We'll see. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Have a great day on this Thursday, and God bless.